Let's play!
So as you guys probably know, last night Nintendo had a huge presentation about the future of Pokemon. So I was so excited. I set my alarm for 4 in the morning. That's how dedicated I was. And I went to watch it and was not disappointed. They announced the 6th generation of Pokemon, Pokemon X version and Pokemon Y version for the 3DS. Now, over the past 12 hours, because it's been 12 hours since 4 o'clock, means it's 4 o'clock for you kids who can't do math. For the last 12 hours, I've been examining the trailer, watching it over and over, reading online forums, just looking at everything about it, trying to get as much information as I can out of it, and I found a lot. So we're going to do a huge breakdown on the trailer, its contents, the Pokemon, the world that it's in, so enjoy.
If you look closely at when Pikachu is explaining the new worldwide release push, you'll see that he's standing on top of the Eiffel Tower, and when it zooms out, he's actually standing on top of France. We'll get into more detail about that in a bit. If you take a look here, we get our first shot of the main protagonist looking in the mirror. From the way he's standing and designed, it seems to imply trainer customization is finally available. However, this is just mere speculation on my part. Also, he looks like a girl. A very cute girl. This is very confusing for my sexuality. Here we get to see how using 3D models allows for a greater range of exploring. On first glance, this may seem like a gimmick for a gym, but by the way the sun is out, it implies that this is actually in the field. Hopefully, vine swinging and other mechanics can increase the size and scope of the world to explore. Here we get a look at the female protagonist. I just want you to take a look and remember this, because later we're going to come back to this. Now, when I first saw this, I thought something was wrong with his running animation, but if you look, he's actually skating. Is this an alternative to the bike? Or does this imply equipable items for the trainers that actually do something? Only time will tell. Personally, I think it's awesome that he's skating. It reminds me of Mega Man Battle Network, a game that people hate, but I love. So, more of that is always welcome. If you look at the statue in the back, you can see it has a Golurk and a Palpitoad on it. This implies that older Pokemon will be able to be caught before the end of the game, unlike Pokemon Black and White. Sadly, this also implies we probably won't get over 150 new Pokemon. Maybe around 100 or so, but I wouldn't get my hopes up for any more than that. The first starter Pokemon is Chespin. He's based off of a chestnut. In fact, his name is based off a combination of chestnut and pin. Also, Chinkapin, which is a species of chestnut. Personally, this is the least favorite of my starters, though I'm saving my opinion until I see the evolutions. I mean, Oshawott was my least favorite until I saw Samurott. It seems to use a dark type attack in the trailer similar to Night Slash, hinting at it possibly being grass dark in its final evolution. The second starter Pokemon is Fennekin. It's based off of a fennec, a creature found in northern Africa. This is easily the most popular of the starters. Within, literally, minutes of it being shown, there was fan art. And literally, within the hour, there was porn of it. Good job, Japan. Good job. It will most likely follow a Renamon-esque line. Judging from the attack it uses in the trailer, its second type is heavily hinted to be psychic. The final starter, and my personal favorite, is Froakie. It's based off of Frog, but that's not all. Look at his hair and glasses-like marking on his nose. Does he remind you of anyone? Maybe, possibly, Benjamin Franklin? He uses what looks to be a fighting-type move in the trailer, hinting at him being water fighting. Now this is really interesting, because if all the types that I've predicted line up, it means that every starter has a type that's super effective against the other, creating 2 type advantage triangles. That's crazy, and honestly, I think that'd be a welcome turn in the series, where every rival battle doesn't turn out to be a complete uphill grind. Also, I'm choosing this guy, and his name's gonna be Benjamin Franklin. I don't care if it doesn't fit, neither did Revolver Oshawott, but I will make a way. Shown here is what seems to be multiplayer. Now take a look at the female character. She looks differently from the model seen before. Now either the players use generic models, as shown in other previous games, or this hints at further customization options. I'm really hoping for the latter. Here we get to see 2 gyms, possibly 3. The first one is a psychic type gym with an unknown gimmick of the room coming back together. Next is a shot of a bug type gym with the gimmick seeming to be web trampolines. Now, this last one, I'm having a bit of trouble telling what it is. It could be a fire type gym, it could be a ghost type gym as it's like a cathedral, or it's just a cathedral and related to the story. Now let's get on to the legendaries. The first one is red and in the shape of the Y. Therefore, obviously, it's the mascot for the Pokemon Y version. It's seemingly based off of a Thunderbird of Native American culture. Its primary type is obviously flying, though we don't know the secondary if there is one. My guess would probably be fire, dragon, or dark. The second is a blue, deer-like Pokemon. If you look carefully at the shape of the horns and legs, it's in the shape of an X. Obviously, this means that it's the mascot for Pokemon X version. Now, it looks like the deer spirit from Princess Mononoke, which is extremely ironic as an edited version of the deer spirit was used for the cover of Pokemon Jade, a Chinese bootleg Pokemon game. Its typing is unknown, though I personally predict grass will be a part of it. Maybe psychic or water due to its coloring. A lot of fans think steel also due to its almost Dialga-like design. Also, its head looks like a Kingdra.
A new 3D Pokemon adventure is about to begin. Introducing Pokemon X and Pokemon...
Now, let's discuss the titles of the games. A lot of people are getting angry over the fact that they're saying that they ran out of colors and that the titles are stupid and uncreative. But there's actually many reasons that I've come up with for them possibly using X and Y. One is the global push. Since this game is getting worldwide release at the same time, they wanted a title that would be the same across the world. X and Y are letters that, despite what they're called being different worldwide, when written look the exact same. Next, it could also be related to the X and Y chromosomes. In the Japanese logo, you could see a double helix. This theme implies that the DNA theme from Pokemon Black 2 White 2 may be continued. Maybe Deoxys and the DNA splicers could be plot important items. The third is the Cartesian planes, the X and Y coordinates, you know what you learn in math class. Since the game is 3D, we can assume Z will be the third dimension, representing all the axes. Now remember how I said before that Pikachu being on top of the Eiffel Tower is important? Well, there's actually a lot of items that show that this game is primarily based in France, if not just Europe in general. The first is the Cartesian planes I just talked about. You see, they were invented in France. In one shot, you can actually see an Eiffel Tower substituted in the background, along with very European-style buildings. Finally, the starters. Phoenix, chestnuts, and frogs are actually pretty common symbols that people think of when they think of France. Also, Benjamin Franklin was the first ambassador from the United States to visit France. It all connects, which I find so brilliant. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the legendaries. They seem kind of out of place, right? They don't seem like French-looking in origin. That's because they're not. They're based off of Native American spirit animals. Like I said, the Thunderbird and Awiasudi, a Cherokee legend about a deer spirit. From this, I'm actually predicting that there'll be some form of entering an unexplored region. You know, befriending native people who have not been seen by man, and they tame Pokemon without Pokeballs.
This game looks like a major step forward in terms of the evolution of the Pokemon series, making it easily one of my most hyped up games for 2013. Who knows, if there's more Nintendo Direct trailers at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll be up and at 'em early to report any things I see and symbolism and stuff, and that'll be fun. Thank you for ruining my life, Nintendo. Thank you. Until then, see you guys next time.
The second is a blue deer-like creature, and if you look at the shape of the horns and legs, you can see it's in the shape of an X. Obviously this means it's the mascot for Pokemon X version. Now this looks like the deer spirit from Princess Mononoke. which is, in the end, extremely ironic, as an edited version of it was used for the cover of Pokemon J. Blah. The second one is a blue deer-like creature, and if you look closely at the way it's shaped, and blah blah. The first starter Pokemon is Chespin. He's based off of a chestnut. Chestnut. That's a word. The final starter, and my personal favorite, the second starter Pokemon shown is Fennekin, based off of a fennec, a creature found in northern Africa. Blah.
Overall, this game looks to be a major step forward in terms of the evolution of the Pokemon series, and makes it one of my most what am I even saying? I'm trying to make... I should write a script. You know what, that'd probably be helpful. So as you guys probably know, last night Nintendo had a huge So as you guys probably know, last night Nintendo had a huge direct conference oh god, what am I even saying? Words!